Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Heretic Hydra V4. This is a single action OTF, meaning you have to manually reload or prime the spring. So there's a coil spring in here and it is primed and ready to go. And when you push that button, the blade's coming. There's nothing to stop it. It does not have the safety system, as we've referred to that as, on like a dual action OTF, right? Where if you push it forward and then you fire it into something like the side of a box, right, then it does this and it stops it, right? There's nothing to stop the blade on this except just the force, right? Eventually it's going to fire into something that is harder than the force that is applied by the spring. This is, of course, where the myth comes from, and it is absolutely a myth, that these types of knives, or magical versions from the past that nobody can actually provide video evidence of, can actually fire completely through solid surfaces, fully extend and lock out. They cannot do this. They can, however, poke you really good, or bad, however you want to put that. This is the knife. A past version of this knife is a knife that I accidentally fired into my own hand, and that was not the fault of the knife. That was the fault of myself. I was being dumb and not paying attention. If you do that, there's a chance you'll go to the hospital. Probably require stitches. This has enough power to fire, I would say, between 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch into any part of you. So yes, I mean, just so everybody knows, yes, these can definitely be dangerous and give you more than a poke, but they're not going to impale you. It's not like the movie It or The Punisher, right? That's a myth. It's always been a myth. So I just know anytime we talk about a single action OTF, like we're going to get those guys. Well, my Uncle Larry has one. I've never seen it, but he said, but anyways, that's how this knife operates. This is the 4th generation of it. I'm not sure what all the differences are, but I'll give you guys my thoughts here. Thanks so much to eKnives for loaning this knife to me for review. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and measure this knife. The overall length of the Heretic Hydra V4 is coming in at, I'm going to say 8.85, 9 inches if you count this little back thing that the lanyard's attached to. The blade length is about 3.5, and your cutting edge is 3.25. This is factually and legally a switchblade. I thought switchblades were those Italian-looking things, the stilettos. Stiletto and switchblade are two different terms. Stiletto refers to a type of blade. It can actually be a fixed blade, but long, slender blade made for poking or thrusting, puncturing, whatever, right? A switchblade is any blade, whether it fires out the side or out the front, that operates via the use of a button, lever, or switch. So legally, this is a switchblade, and it will get you in trouble in areas where switchblades are illegal. This is an exceptionally powerful version of a switchblade, so probably not a good idea to push it if they're not legal in your area. Anyways, let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others, up against the 8010 and my own Excalibur. You can see here it is larger than both. We're kind of like not in exactly the right spot here. There we go. So it's a pretty big boy. Let's go ahead and put it up against the Spyderco Para 3 and the PM2 and the Para 3. It's definitely bigger than both. And then finally, let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. How is the action? This is one of the most powerful production pocket-sized single action OTFs out there. The big one, like the real big one, is the Halo 6. The Halo 6 is definitively the most powerful. The Max Ace Draco, which is definitely just meant to be like the Chinese Halo 6. They just tweak the little things here and there. That's also extremely powerful. I think a smidge less powerful than the Halo 6. A lot of people were telling me that they're like, you got to try the Hydra V4. It's the most powerful. It's very powerful. It's not as powerful as the Halo 6, period. It's just not. And it is, I would say it may be as powerful as the Draco. The Draco feels like it carries a little more weight with the fire because the blade is bigger and I think slightly thicker. Maybe it's about the same thickness. But yeah, they both come out with alarming force. That's it. I mean, the only, you know, as far as like, I'm not talking about ballistic knives or, you know, hypothetical knives that are hooked up to a pressurized tank, right? But as far as like pocket-sized, manually actuated, like when I mean like the reload, right? And you push the button. Pocket-sized, manually actuated, single-action OTFs. This is amongst the most powerful currently and in history. I have to keep saying that because there will be someone who mentions like a mysterious auto paratrooper or trapdoor knife that just is more powerful but can't provide evidence. No, they were weaker back then. They were still strong and still could give you a good poke, but they were weaker back then. These are the most powerful that have ever existed. The only knives that are this structure that are more powerful are those comically oversized ones that both Heretic and Microtech make. I would not want to be standing in front of those. I think that might actually put a hole in you. But that's a much, much, much larger spring, right? We cannot apply enough human force to the spring that would need to be in here and the amount of human force that would be required to, you know, reload it or cock it or prime it or whatever in order to fire the blade in a way that magically would not destroy the frame when it locked out and also puncture a solid surface. It's just not, it's not currently possible, right? Maybe we'll find a way to maybe Brian Winters will make some sort of like just mechanical, like miniature motor operated, like death OTF. That's the person who I feel like might be capable of doing that. But as of right now, we just have the pretty dangerous variation, and this is up there. This is definitely one of the strongest ones that exists, right? And that power it's very apparent. You move this little teardrop thing over. That's your safety. Actually works really well. I like that. I think that's cool. I think that's one of the only reasons that they decided to put a pocket clip on this thing, which I do praise them for, but we'll come back to that. You move that over, you push it down, and that blade's a-coming. Holy moly. If you've never experienced one of these, it's pretty shocking the first time. You're not going to be ready. It's going to make you jump. That's just how it's going to be. You push the button down, pull back, snap. Has a little Heretic thing on there. This has the serial number. Made in the USA. This absolutely is made in the USA. You push it back in there, and the little detent ball's right there. Click, keeps it in place, and you're good to go. Once it's in there, you can pull it back out in the closed position. When your blade is actually like fully locked out in the open position, which we're going to come back and talk about. Okay, we're going to come back and talk about that. Don't you worry. But when it's out in the open position, you cannot pull this. You have to depress the button in order to get it to go back in there. But anyways, let's go ahead and do carry profile. So let me pull it back in there. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's slightly thicker. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. It's not a terrible carry profile. In fact, it's pretty good. It's a fairly large object. The pocket clip is just aggressively stiff. I don't know why. It's just really, really stiff. It doesn't need to be that stiff, but it is. So you're going to have to fight that a little bit if you want to put it in and out of your pocket, which is, you know, considering where the front of this is aimed, you kind of have to be brave to carry something like this. That's, I mean, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and do the hardware check. I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. These are all going to be T8, which I love. Same with the pocket clip, which has, oh no, the pocket clip actually I think is going to be T6. Is it? They look like they're all the same size. No, I'm wrong. These are all T8. They should be. That one doesn't want to take it. That's weird. What's going on there? This screw right up here doesn't want to take the bit. The rest of them do. Oh, there we go. I got it. I'm just being dumb. T8. This pocket clip has 4 screws in it. Jeez. Okay. Looks great from the front, though. Nothing. No visible hardware on the front. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. I would advise against taking apart a single action. It's different than taking apart a double action. You can do it. I don't know. I think that leave it together and don't take it apart unless you absolutely have to. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness. This is a pretty thick blade stock. It's not a dainty blade stock, not for sure. For sure, it is not. Come on now, zero out. No, zero, no. Okay. This went back to millimeters. You dick! This thing is fighting me. Fighting me every step of the way. No, no. Okay, here we go. Why did it go back? It went back again. That's so weird. What's happening? Is it low on battery? Oh. It's got, maybe it's because the battery needs to be pushed in place. I lost the cap on this a while back, and I think the battery not always being fully depressed in there is making it act funny. All right, there we go. So we are at 154 thousandths on the blade stock. Not as thick as the Halo. If I remember correctly, the Halo is at least 165, maybe even 180, and I think that the Draco is the same way. So this guy's a little bit thinner. Meat and potatoes time. Kind of a weird looking knife. It's kind of goopy. I don't know how to, like the blade is kind of a goop and like the handle's kind of a goop, and we have a little goopy guy here, and that's the best way that I can describe this. Like they ooze these out of a little spigot. Like it looks like here. Like that's the sound effect for this knife. That's what it makes me think of. It looks like it's dripping out of something. I don't know why it is this way. It's very round. It's got soft edges and things. But you know what? It is very ergonomic. It's very, very comfortable. Blade shape, I hate recurs. Just hate them. Wish this had a straight blade, but it doesn't. Two-tone, not my favorite, but you can get it non-two-tone. It's got a bunch of holes in it, right? Edge is pretty thick. That's just the way it's going to be. As far as the blade steel, this is Magna Cut, and to my knowledge, Heretic does a great job with it. Fit and finish all the way around is spectacular. They really do a good job of making sure that their parts are all manufactured correctly. I think Heretic has just gotten better and better and better over time. I think in the early days, there were some issues with certain models, but here lately, all of the Heretic stuff that I've handled has been really, really good. And they legitimately do make everything in the United States, which is awesome. So, the issue with this knife that I did not think was an issue initially is the same issue that I have with the Max Ace Draco. And that's when you fire it, I would say more than half the time. Sounds locked out. It's not. Oh, it was that time. Just being honest, it was that time. Let's go again. Now we're not. You know what I mean? It's not engaging with the lock tab. It's firing so hard it's bouncing backwards, which is why it's part of the reason why it just cracks me up that there are people out there who, fully believe that there are versions of these knives that fire with enough force to puncture like solid surfaces. This guy can barely keep from bouncing back from it's hitting the stop pin so hard that it's bouncing backwards before that lock can fully engage, right? The amount of force that a blade would fire to be able to achieve this mythical tier of power would be enough to damage the internals, at least over multiple deployments. It would damage them enough that the knife would become inoperable. And people say, because the gun to fire a bullet and it not fly apart. Yeah, but the bullet leaves the gun. Imagine the gun fires a bullet into itself, right? Or instead of a barrel that's open at the end, it's just closed. Like, what do you think would happen? Don't. Somebody tried to say that to me one time, and I said, you don't understand what you're saying then. I know that I'm inviting a whole bunch of arguments, but the end result is the same. This mythical, super powerful OTF that you know exists, but then when you think about it, maybe you saw it in a movie. It only exists in the movie because it doesn't. We can't put that in something like this. It doesn't work, at least yet. But this guy is already firing so hard, it's bouncing backwards. The lock does not always engage. You have to make sure that this little bit right here comes all the way out. I'll fire it again and show you what it looks like. You can tell right there because the button's stuck. When it doesn't do that, did we get it? Nope. See? It's got to go all the way, a little bit right there. Try again. See, we didn't get it. Watch. I can push it down. Yeah. Do I think that this would break itself in over time? Yes, because I think that the space where that needs to slip in and lock is just so close that the blade's going and it's not letting this guy get in there. As you continue to deploy this, if I were to sit here and deploy this like 1,000 more times, I think that little piece would wear enough of that ledge away that it would start slipping in every time. But these should come like this. I mean, like if it's not locking out, the first time you go to puncture something, if it's not fully locked out, well then it does this. It goes, well, that's not good, right? So I don't know if they're all like this, but this one is, and this might be slightly nature of the beast with big, powerful single action OTFs. I don't know. The Halo 6 that I had didn't do this. Maybe it was a Halo 5 that I was reviewing like years ago. It didn't do that. So I don't know why this one is, and I don't remember the last generation of this knife doing that, but it's been a long time since I've looked at that review. So maybe they both did it, and I just don't remember. But that's something that really bums me out. I think that really is a deal breaker. I mean, the knife needs to lock out. If this was a dual action OTF and you pushed it forward and it wasn't fully locking out and I was having to reset the blade every time, that's not something that's like I can't give it a pass for that. So maybe I got a goofy one. Maybe they're all like this. Maybe just some of them. I don't know. But in this state, this isn't a knife that I can recommend. It's really cool, and I like the power, and I love that it's made in the USA, right? I don't even mind that it's kind of a goopy, drippy boy. You know, I don't know why it looks like that, but looks are subjective, right? And a lot of people like how this looks, and it doesn't, just because I think it looks like it's dripping doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just how I perceive it. But yeah, I think if the blade locked out completely, this would be a very, very functional tool. I think it's kind of an overkill. You have to kind of want to carry stuff like this, and it has to be legal, right? But single action OTFs, I think, are more inconvenient than they are convenient, and you carry them for cool factor. And it's still a very functional object as long as the blade is locking out. But in this case, it is not. So this is not something, at least in this current state, it's not something I can recommend. I fully believe that Heretic is capable of fixing this issue, and maybe I'll look at another variation of it in the future. But that's going to be it for today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.